So focusing in on emerging markets and positioning, Mayank, have we seen the bottom? What is positioning like?
So positioning in emerging markets is very stretched, just as the dollar longs are very stretched. And we do a weekly positioning report, which tries to take various sort of measures, put them together, and get a better sense of where things are. Our sense is that while positioning is very stretched, there are some very interesting dynamics that are happening within emerging markets themselves. So one of the really interesting things we've noted is that the FX volatility in emerging markets is so much higher than even emerging market equity volatility that this is not something that we've seen in many, many years, which tells us that there's something more than what the headline shows. Even the correlations between the various FX crosses are not anywhere near the highs what would normally be suggested when we say that the overall volatility has picked up in EM. What this suggests to us that the fundamentals are pretty diverse across various EM, and so far it's really been an idiosyncratic story. Maybe things change, but so far we don't think there's any clear signaling as to whether the bottom is in or this could continue for longer.
So that's interesting, Alan Krueger. I mean, that suggests that it actually is case by case, country by country, rather than a phenomenon of the Fed raising rates and really tightening the dollar, raising the dollar, and to some extent trade concerns. I mean, from where you sit, how much of this is idiosyncratic, as Seb said, or how much of it is really because of the Fed?
Well, I think it's a bit of both. So far, the big currency runs that we've seen have been idiosyncratic, and we haven't seen contagion. You would have said the same thing 11 years ago, before the U.S. financial crisis, that everything looked like it was contained and that this was just a problem at Bear Stearns, this was an isolated problem. So I worry that these correlations remain low until they become high, and that we're temporarily solving some of the problems, but we're really not solving the root of the problem.